Hey Gooners, this is Alan Smith.
This is Kevin Campbell.
Lee Dixon.
Colin Lewin.
This is Gary Lewin.
Charles Watts.
Dan Potts.
James Benge.
Danny.
Tom from the Gooner Talk here.
Ryan Oakcastle.
Simon Collins. You may know me from the Evening Standard.
You may know me for my time at Arsenal.
You may know me from Arsenal or even the Hybrid Squad.
I'm a Birdcat Wonderland.
Being that physio sat on the bench next to Arsenal with my rubber gloves on.
The former Arsenal physio.
The Emirates Press Box, from writing, from Twitter.
From goal.com, from Twitter, from YouTube.
Football is the beautiful game and it brings us all together.
Sometimes there are things even more important than wins and losses.
And yes, even transfers.
Every 30 seconds, someone in this world gets diagnosed with blood cancer.
The Leukemia and Lymphoma Society works towards curing blood cancers
and provides support to families currently dealing with these diseases.
Gooners vs Cancer was started in 2017
by a lifelong Gooner who lost his father to leukemia way too young.
Since 2017, Gooners v Cancer has raised
$120,000 for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society.
And we need your help to keep the fundraising going in this year's campaign.
Every donation helps.
Every donation helps.
Every donation helps.
Every donation helps.
No matter the size.
And every donation enters you into the Gooner raffle,
where you have a great chance to win amazing Arsenal prizes,
including game tickets, stadium tours,
signed men and women's shirts,
and maybe a retro signed shirt by yours truly, Lee Dixon.
Me, yours truly.
Yours truly, Super Kev Campbell.
So much more.
It's easy to take part.
Just go to www.goonersvcancer.com
and donate directly to the charity.
Pick the raffle prizes you want to enter to win,
and wait for the drawings at the end of the campaign.
Again, that's www.goonersversuscancer.com.
We all know that victory grows out of harmony.
Victory grows out of harmony.
Victory grows out of harmony.
With your help, we'll be victorious against blood cancer once and for all.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you for your support.
Thanks for your support.
Thanks for your support.
Thank you for your support.
Oh, see, I told you when we finally got those two on that it would be gold, and they could have just we could have invited them on. I could have just turned my camera off and my microphone off and just let it go. That was fantastic.
Can I just say, like, you look amazing, by the way. And sorry, my phone. I'm holding my phone now because my stand totally broke on me.
Oh, that's going to get old after a while.
Yeah, I'm sorry. No, it's okay. But yeah, I mean, well done, Mike. It's just amazing, brilliant. I love you so much.
It could still complete. It could all just,
We're going to get to 30K before we're out. Someone's going to come in with a massive, massive donation. I feel it.
Either that, or we'll change it to we're just going to continue to podcast until we get to 30K.
Sure, let's just keep going.
Don't want me to die. You better. Someone just better get in there and put a couple thousand in. But now we're so far ahead of where I ever thought that we would be in the situation that I'm thrilled. So the penultimate hour, we're going to bring Andy back in, because the more the merrier at this point. And this is an hour that I'm looking forward to, because for the first time also appearing on the Gooners podcast, my very good new friend, Demien Arriaga. Demien.
My guy.
Demien, sorry. Welcome back to the pod.
Let's go. What's up, my friends? How are you?
I'm loving life. And we've heard his voice already once on the pod.
Stop it. Oh, my God. All my favorite boys are here.
Albert, did you watch the Peter Drury Hour?
Mike, you know what? I caught the back end, but one of my good friends messaged me, Mike, I love you. Tell Peter I have to meet this guy virtually in person one day. That's fantastic, Mike. I appreciate that, man. Honestly, fantastic.
Hey, man, I wanted him to hear the love, and here it is again.
Yes, Michael Feinberg, man. Before I send you a beautiful voice note from your brother from another mother, Albert JTV. Mate, incredible lineup. I had to look twice. I said, bloody hell. Yeah, man, proud to be part of that, man, 100%. And Mike, can you officially tell Peter Drury? I'm actually in love with him. I love him. He's the best thing since sliced bread in terms of commentating. So you pass that message on to him from me. But much love, man. Looking forward to coming on, man. Yeah.
But then what did
Michael
Peter
Feinberg,
say?
Man.
Oh, wait, hold on.
What did Peter say? Play what
he said. He loves you too.
He did. It's brilliant. I'll search for it. I was very. I'm blushing, Mike, but you just can't tell because of the skin complexion, mate.
No, it's beautiful, man.
Thank you, man. It meant a lot.
I listened to that over and over again last night because the joy in your voice. Like, yes.
I try, Mike. I try.
Tell him I'm in love with him.
I am.
I love it. So this is the penultimate hour. I got a little bit to talk about officially, but we're just going to go freeform here, and then probably halfway through this, I'm going to start pouring vodka into my stuff. But with us this hour, we have an extremely talented professional musician, podcaster, blogger, and connoisseur of the Arsenal women's football team, an up-and-coming podcaster and an up-and-coming podcaster, an all-around great guy. And a geezer. Oh no, these are three different people. We've got. I don't even remember writing this. So we've got an extremely talented professional musician, podcaster, blogger, and connoisseur of the Arsenal women's football team, an up-and-coming podcaster, and someone who didn't show up, who I was going to describe as a geezer named Hoggy, who still hates the Cronkies. So.
Where's Hoggy?
Yeah, where is he? He's probably asleep. He's so old.
He goes to bed at like 7:00. So. He says many apologies. Okay. There's a good explanation for it. So we're going to be without Hoggy tonight. First. Okay, here we go. I'm sorry. I have to get this out of the way. He's a man who's.
The guy has been up for like 26 hours. Let's give him a break.
Give me a break. He is a man who's been on stage as a percussionist and drummer for the likes of Miley Cyrus, the Jonas Brothers, Carly Rae Jepsen, Meghan Trainor, and more. He's appeared on Saturday Night Live, the MTV Music Video Awards, The Tonight Show, Highbury Squad, and now at last, the Gooners. Not only that, those are the top 5 in order. Not only all this, but dude is a really cool guy to hang out with. Welcome to the pod, Demien Arriaga.
Thank you. Thank you very much. What a kind introduction. And before I go any farther, Mike, thank you for everything you do. You are a stellar human being. You are the leader of all of us, and what you do and why you do it, it's so magical. So just to be a part of this, obviously with people like Peter Drury and so on and so forth, the co-host now, it's just amazing. But to be in your presence with somebody that has done so much stemming from a cause that's so near and dear to you, I'm honored to be even a tiny part of it. And thank you for letting me be here.
I appreciate that. You've made me very happy, and you've absolutely ruined Andy's day. Have you met Demien? This is Andy.
No, we have not met.
We have not met. Nice to meet you.
He's the one that came up with this podcast in the first place. And
amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Not the charity podcast. You came up with the idea for the Gooners podcast.
Mike, the two of them are like, wait, hold on a second. Who is this geezer? What are you talking about?
I probably better bring him in here because he came up with the podcast idea the summer of 2016, and this is his first time on it.
Wow.
And I'm happy to be here.
It counts. What a better time to make your debut.
Yeah. Now you up what Demien said to me now, so it's your turn. No. Also, we have the founder and host of Albert J TV, where you can find his instant match reactions, weekly surgery, a show where he performs unnecessary surgical procedures on different members of the Arsenal fan base with absolutely no training, and much, much more. Albert, the J in Albert J TV stands for Jewish, right?
No, it's Joseph.
He answered that seriously.
He did. That was great.
I mean, I just assumed, but
you was close, Mike. You was very close.
Yeah, you know what happens when you assume. And so it's hour 26 of 27. I'm completely running on fumes. So I'm just going to throw out a few topics, and Andy, feel free to throw out topics, and Sophie, you're the best at it. We do. Let's cover the elephant in the room first. And unfortunately, I had hoped that this wouldn't be a subject that we'd have to be talking about. But the Champions League campaign of the Arsenal women's team.
Yeah.
Don't. Oof, Demien. Going by Demien's WhatsApps yesterday. Let me just tell you.
Let's get it out of the way, and then we can focus on happier things. So how does this whole thing work? Since when do the most dominant teams in the world have to qualify, and one loss and you're out of the whole goddamn thing?
Okay, so I'll preface whatever I'm going to say by saying that I am not an expert. I'm a fan. I speak from a point of passion, and I'm very biased and subjective. So Albert is way more equipped to talk about the processes and the mechanisms behind the everything, really. But in this particular thing about the knockout phase. But yeah, it was really, really rough. And what I can say is I played a pickleball tournament yesterday, and we finished 4th, and we didn't get a medal. And I was so goddamn pissed and hurt. And I felt like I betrayed myself and my partner and my wife. And I was just like, it's a mess. And then I thought, like, imagine how the girls feel, you know, having lost against Paris FC, not making it to the Champions League. And I was just felt so bad for them. And before the tournament, I laid it on Sophie. I went on a rant. And then after the tournament, I was like, yeah, I'm a total douchebag. I think I should cut them some slack. But the fact of the matter is they're out. We have to keep going. Like, that's what life is about. You have to keep going. You have to learn. You have to move forward. And hopefully Jonas Eidevall will make what I would consider to be different decisions, not to make them better, but different decisions that will allow us, or the girls, to focus on the WSL and the FA Cup, which ultimately I think are the most realistic goals and the ones that we should have gone for full on anyway. I know the Champions League is the shiny object, but honestly, I think the WSL is the trophy to win.
Agree with that.
Followed by the FA Cup, to be completely honest with you. I think when you look at the squads, not only the squads on paper, but how they play, a Lyon, a Barcelona, a Wolfsburg, we're not at that point yet because of the injuries we've had. If we would have a Viviana Miedema, Beth Mead, Leah Williamson, this would be a completely different conversation, without a shadow of a doubt. And I'm pretty sure Albert, Sophie would agree. So yeah, that's my brief take on that.
You're listening to the Jonas Hour. We've got the Jonas Eidevall being discussed. We've got Jonas Hart, and he's just found out he has brothers. So, that's the one good thing about talking about yesterday, is that we got to have 3 Jonases all kind of converging at the same time. Albert, your take on it, and how does the team recover and kind of focus on the prizes at hand now in front of them, rather than rue the opportunities that could have been?
Listen, football, unfortunately, is it can be good. It can be good, but at times it's going to be a lot of setbacks, and that was a big one, unfortunately. But Mike, it's done. It's how they progress. It's how they move on. And I agree with what Demien said. I think Arsenal. I mean, listen, the injuries they had last season, and to even have got to the stage of the Champions League was phenomenal. Because you miss, as good as some of the players that were already there still, when you're missing, I'll say more than 50% of your first 11, not even part of your squad members, the players that would make an impact in your team. But yeah, it's a blow. And like I said, we've got some new faces coming into the squad, so they'll take a bit of time to gel. But I'm positive for this season. I'm happy with the transfer window that they've done. Anybody that hasn't seen the documentary on Arsenal.com, definitely go and watch it. Fantastic watch. Unbelievable watch, actually. But, Mike, you know what? We dust ourselves off and we go again. We can't. What can we do? It's done now, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you always think that because the team is struggling with injuries, like Damien said, maybe it's better that they just focus on the fewer competitions, get people back healthy?
I just wanted to win the league this season. I didn't. Yeah. I know, like with the trajectory of... focus on.
Oh, she's back.
She's not muted.
Lost, yeah.
We can't hear yourself.
Yeah, it's strange. You're not muted. You're not. Let me take you out and bring you back in. Oh, she took herself out.
Well, I'll mention something about the Champions League. Sort of the question that you asked, Albert, is how do they sort of dust off and come back up? Sophie, are you there?
I'm here. Yeah,
okay,
sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm having a bit of it. No, it's okay. I was just going to say, I just want to win the league. That's what I wanted to focus on this season. And the Champions League qualifies a little bit like when you finish in that 4th spot in the men's competition. It comes early, comes quickly, and you're not quite ready for it. And after the Women's World Cup, I'm not sure if the team was totally prepared. And I mean, in the end, we lost on penalties, right? So it's a lottery. However, as long as we win the league, and I think this team is prime. This is a massive season for Jonas, I think. Huge for him. And I think we've got to deliver. This is the time to beat Chelsea and shove it down Emma Hayes' throat. That's what I feel.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is the season. And there are times when Joe Montemurro lost me. There are times where Arsene Wenger lost me. And there will be times when Jonas is going to lose me the same way Arteta has lost me in the past, and I raise my hand and I admit it. One of those is not playing Katie McCabe, that unless she has an injury, there's no reason why she shouldn't be starting, even if she's in goal, right? That's just like one of the things that I do. But to the point that Mike brought up about how do we recover, speaking to or about a Katie McCabe, like for those who are watching that aren't familiar with Arsenal women, beyond the result that just happened, we have a team of not only historic women, but a lot of them are captains of their national teams. Leah Valti with Switzerland, Katie McCabe for Ireland, for all intents and purposes, Steph Catley for Australia, which, by the way, they played better than with Sam Kerr. Leah Williamson, of course, and Kim Little when she played for Scotland. Yeah. So the list goes on and on and on. We have amazing women with elite mentality that of course, they will overcome this. Of course, they will, I mean, Beth Mead, obviously, Viviana Miedema will be captain for the Dutch without a shadow of a doubt in a year or so. So I don't doubt that they'll come back stronger. I do think that it's a time to wake up and realize what we might need aside from gelling together. There's only so much of round peg, square situation, or whatever the expression is, that I feel is lacking a little bit, and it came to fruition or to evidence now so soon in the season, like Sophie's saying. So it sucked, but I'd rather lose, like I wrote on my blog, I'd rather lose now than lose the second or third match in the WSL season, which means done, because Chelsea
100%.
might not lose. So if I have to choose, and I was talking to Pete from Le Grove about how I didn't necessarily agree with him last year when he was talking about how good it was for Arsenal to be out of the Europa League. And I know Sophie and I basically thought the same thing. But with the women, it's slightly different. The way I digest football is very different when I watch Arsenal women than when I watch the men. So in this case, it hurts, but I'm fine without the Champions League, and they'll come back stronger.
What do you think about Aditya's? It's not really a question, but a statement. There should be more cross-culture content between Arsenal women and men. The cultural awareness and the sport awareness has permeated much further, as far as I can tell, for the women's game, especially with Arsenal having such a compelling team.
Can I say something here?
Yeah,
because I know Albert and Demien feel strongly about this. So the Arsenal women were playing in a Champions League game. How many of the men's team tweeted or Instagram wishing them luck?
Yeah,
great.
You know, Leah Williamson, our captain, every single time, whether our boys are playing for England or whether they're playing in the Champions League or they're playing a cup game, she all the time to support. And Mike, you bring up a really good question, and I'll let the lads answer as well. I think there needs to be, I'm a woman who says that we need men to continually raise the game. This is why what happened with the Women's World Cup was so heartbreaking, because here you are as a woman, you fought just to get here. Forget about everything that goes with it. You know, this is like the Women's World Cup is not that old. It's not been around for that long. And these women have worked their asses off. You know, I wanted to play football. I was too small. I was too slight. I had a trial. I couldn't do it. These women have grafted and they fought and they've scraped, and their moment has been taken away from them. And I don't think that we can succeed because we need the support of men and we need the support of women. We need women to take their girls to games. We need women to be more involved in the game as well. But I don't think our men's team show enough love for our women's team in the pivotal moments for those pivotal games. And I think Demien, you feel the same way as I do, and I have a feeling Albert does too. But I'd love to know your guys.
I almost asked a ridiculous question, which is, whose responsibility is it to make sure that happens? And it occurred to me that I must be really overly exhausted, because it doesn't make any sense if like, Kate or Mark, or somebody says, okay, we need to, it needs to be organic. The men should
do you
want
think anyone tells Williamson to make that post?
No, and that's why I'm saying
it's a failure.
I'm tired, but I wasn't too tired to recognize that would have been a completely useless exercise if it was having to be.
It's a failure. It's a failure for both, though, Mike. Right, players and the organization, like the communications team. To Soph's point, they shouldn't have to do it, but they're not doing it. So someone should be stepping in saying, hey, boys, we need you on socials backing these girls, right? You probably do that once. That's enough to push them in the right direction. It shouldn't have to be done, but the club needs to step up and say, hey, you're not doing it, so do it.
How often, and Demien, I know that Sophie kind of threw it to you, but and then I keep adding things on top of it, but how often do you think that the women's team as a unit is in the same under the same roof, whether it's a virtual roof at Colney or an indoor training with the men's team? Does that ever happen?
I'm not sure as far as how often it cross-pollinates in a way, or they overlap, but they play in the same club. Like Viviana Miedema says, the Emirates is not the men's stadium, it's the club's stadium.
Right.
And at some point they get to play more often. So I'm not really sure how much that happens, but there has to be, what's lacking is bravery and empathy, right? Which are kind of oxymorons for a lot of men in this world, and myself included from time to time. So the fact that Leah Williamson posts and no men ever really post, right? I challenge anybody to think about which male player or which male posts the most about Arsenal women, and it's Ian Wright.
Yeah.
Okay. But by an absurd amounts of stats, right? Ian Wright is such an important architect of what this fandom is. So imagine if you had not 20 Ian Wrights, if you had 3 Ian Wrights, if you had 4 Ian Wrights.
And I'm hearing Rob Holding. I'm hearing Rob Holding it being.
He was great. Rob was great.
He was great, but that's one guy.
Right.
I mean, no offense. It should have been Saka, Odegaard, the heroes and the guys. Like, so I do take offense that they don't post to a lot of degree, and I'm sorry, but I think it's cowardly that a lot of times they don't do it. A lot of the guys that I look up to or admire and feel are amazing parts of the club didn't say anything about Rubiales, didn't say anything about Jenny Hermoso. This is something that angers me and makes me very very distraught. And I think I'll shut up in a second, but I think a lot of times the players are poorly advised, and they assume that if they post something, that they won't post something because the news cycle is so fast that whatever they were supposed to post about, they can just wait a couple of days and it'll be over, right? Instead of thinking, you know what, I'm going to post something about this, and if people like it or not, it'll be gone in a couple of days anyway, right? So they can use the fast news cycle to take a stance, to say something, to support, to do something for the women. And like Beth Mead is among the biggest Man United supporters on planet Earth. She knows more about that team than most. And when Arsenal beat Man United 3-1, she was the first player to post, "Go on, boys." Like, she's going against, like, that's insane. Like, if anybody has a trouble understanding true love for the club and professionalism and support, and they do it selflessly, because I guarantee you that they do not expect any single male player to show up, to tweet, to posts on Instagram. They don't need them. They do their elite thing and they win leagues and they win, they go to World Cup and so on and so forth. And that's sadly what it is in this world. And I'll shut up and I'll let Albert.
Someone put in the chat that Leah Williamson does a lot for the men's side because she's a proper Gooner. But where are the Hale M boys if they're coming up through these programs?
Exactly.
Where are they? Like Saka and Smith Rowe. Like it's as much on them as it is, as someone said in the chat, like Odegaard being the captain to lead the way. Like if they're coming through this program and they're probably walking the same halls and being in these programs with these young women, they ultimately are friends with them. So I think it's everyone's problem. Calms down to players, everyone.
And if you don't want to do it for the men, for the women, excuse me, if you don't want to do it for the club for whatever reason, if you don't think women should be playing football, whatever, I've gone in depth about that. Do it for the young boys that look up to you or the older guys that look up to you. It's not going to hurt anybody. It's only going to add value and help the cause much more. I know, Albert, you have so much to say about this, dude.
Yeah, you know what? You've covered most of it, but what I would say, I'm going to add sort of something, a bit of a different take to it. In terms of sort of our male counterparts showing a bit more interest. I mean, we look at the World Cup that's just gone, right? They hadn't even sorted out the broadcasting rights, for example. That was one issue. Then you had the pay disputes within the organizations. That was another issue. You look at some of the teams that actually went to the World Cup. Some of them had to crowdfund. I even look at going away from the World Cup. I look at even when was it Forest Green Rovers in League 1 or 2, and they took in a temporary manager. It happened to be a female. I can't remember the lady's name. And I just saw the attitude of some of the guys that obviously like football, and it's crazy. I mean, if I think about myself in terms of my sort of my time, coming into the women's game, looking at it, as I mentioned to Sophie and Demien before, for me, I've followed the Lionesses, for example, for a number of years. So for me to do content was a no-brainer for me. I've done it for some amazing people, but like Demien said, like you need more than just Eoin Wright to put his best foot forward. It needs to be, there's such a wider problem. And you mentioned the point about what happened with the Spanish women's team. Even before they won the World Cup, there was a lot of issues there, going back about 7-8 years. They've only just sacked the guy. So it's a wider problem, Mike. I get it with, you're right, the player should post more, to be fair with you. But I don't know. It's their own individual responsibility to just show a bit more of an interest, man, to be honest. They play for your club.
It's not hard. I mean, and God forbid the interest wasn't genuine. The act is still important.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly. Like imagine Declan Rice, Saka, Odegaard, all dressed like in cool gear, to borrow your expression today, Mike, dripping, right? The drip.
My expression.
Yeah, the expression you coined. Imagine you're at Boreham Wood and, 300 people or whatever that stadium holds, and you see these legends, right? And these club, emblematic, the icons of today, there watching the girls. You don't think at least 20 more boys are gonna be like, oh, women's football is cool. If Declan Rice thinks this is cool, then I think it's cool, and they're gonna go show up, or they're gonna go. So they can do much more. That's the bottom line.
That's the thing, is that there's such a narrative right now that, oh, what more do they want? They're on TV. They're playing in bigger stadiums. They're doing this. They're given that, and because women are presenting on television now, and all of that. They think that we've arrived, and we haven't, and we're on our way. But just think about when the men's game started and when the women's game started. How can you even look any person in the eye and say, what more do you want? And I get that all the time on social media. Oh, shut up. What more do you want? You've got this, you've got that. And I think that's the part that women just want people to understand, is that they think it's an equal world right now. And it isn't. And I'm telling you that as a woman, it isn't. And so for me, I'm so proud of the Arsenal women and what they each stand for, and to see the game come as far as it has is incredible. But look at the World Cup. Albert, what team was it? Was it South Africa or Nigeria or Jamaica? They couldn't even afford.
Yeah, Jamaica had to crowdfund in order for the players to arrive at the tournament.
Come on, man!
That's insane.
This is a World Cup. This is a World Cup.
Right?
Would that happen? And
But
you know,
Sophie,
someone was making.
So if it was the same with the broadcasting rights, that would never happen for a men's tournament.
Never.
Like weeks before the tournament. I think it's like 2 months before the tournament. That's insane. It's absolutely insane. And what the Spanish team had to go through, I'm sorry, it's another level.
Well, the Spanish thing, like the fact that no one was fired day one, that indicates there is a massive issue.
Yesterday.
I mean, just within 24 hours, shit canned everywhere, and it went under. It's
and he resigned. He didn't get fired. He resigned today.
Even before the tournament.
I think.
There had to be something behind closed doors, I'm sure. But
could you imagine the men's game, for example? Sorry, that if you've got 15 of your squad players refusing to play for the manager, you know what would happen? The manager would be gone. But
absolutely.
But I know Jorge Vilda I think his dad had quite a high influence in the Spanish football arena, so that's why. But it's crazy if you think about it. Just even from those just basic level terms, 15 of your national squad refused to play for the manager, and only 3 of them came back for the tournament anyway.
Yeah,
crazy.
That's insane.
It's so sad.
But what I was going to say really quickly about what Sophie mentioned about this question that is asked, what more do you want?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure, and I never think I speak for women, but I will right now. What they want is that you don't ask that stupid fucking question.
Very true.
That's why would you even ask that? And women in journalism, Sophie, Nicola, Laura Woods, Shaban, Susie Rack, Caroline Barker, Karen Carney, these women know more about football than 98% of the guys you'll ever speak to. They know so much in so many different ways. They know stats, they know analysis, they know history of the club, they know the ins and outs of a club operationally, they know backroom staff, they know anything and everything you could imagine. Those 4 women, 5 women alone, and the amount of abuse they get. I know Albert is, like me, Laura Woods fan, Shaban fan, and we see their comments and we're constantly having to defend them or report comments. It's exhausting.
I'd rather listen to any of them than Gary Neville or Jamie Carragher.
Sure.
Demien, it's even now. Obviously,
and she can do it sideways. Even. I mean, she can do it literally like levitating on her side.
It's a
none of those guys that you talked about can do. By the way.
This is where it goes downhill, boys. This is where it goes downhill.
Come on.
An hour, 15 minutes.
Come on, Mike. You can do it. You don't have to. You can drink Arnold Palmer. You can drink water. I'm going to be that guy. Water. Okay, it didn't work. I tried.
That is water to Mike.
to Mike.
Sophie's gone.
Going back to the Arsenal women's team, on paper, so Chelsea.
I love this. So just Sophie's frozen on her side. She's levitating. It's fantastic.
Chelsea are the clear-cut favorites, right, going into the season. And I think Arsenal on the back end will get a lot of players back from injury. They've added a lot in attack. Are you guys a little worried, like I am, about defensively, or do you think that everything should be good and we can?
No, Andy, it's a good question actually, because I think I probably tweeted Demien at the time, but I think getting in Amanda Illerstedt's a very smart sign. He had a fantastic World Cup, by the way. Scored 4 goals.
Mm-hmm.
Getting Lea Codina, and I was like, wow. I didn't know that was even coming, but apparently the contact was made before the World Cup. But those are really, really 2 shrewd signings, man. Actually, more than shrewd. Very, very good. So you got a World Cup winner there, and a centre half that played in the semi-finals of the World Cup where they came 3rd, didn't they, Sweden? So I think defensively, I'm okay with it personally. I don't know how Damien and Sophie feel, but and attack-wise, I think they needed. I'm glad we got Alessia Russo, and the rumours were. I think it started last season, actually, to be fair. But when they put a bid in, I think was it January time?
Yeah, all the way up to the deadline, wasn't it?
Yeah. So they've made some good signings, man. And if Jonas can get that mix with the new guys coming in and with the guys coming back, listen, the titles, Chelsea not going to be a pushover, but it'll be a lot closer than it was last season. Put it that way.
Yeah. I think with Chelsea, we're forgetting the players that are leaving Chelsea that are very important players. So that is going to take some adjustment. I think Emma Hayes is a genius, and I think she could coach They talk about Serena Wiegmann coaching England after Southgate. I think it should be Emma Hayes, to be completely honest with you. But I do think that defensively, I'm with Albert. Amanda and Laya are massive because...
Yeah, big.
Let me see how I put this nicely. Without Leah Williamson, the other options aren't anywhere near as good as where they should be, and they're a liability, and they cost us several instances last season. So the fact that we got these two players to not push down the other players one peg down, it's 2 pegs down. So now we have a level. Leah Williamson. When she comes back, obviously we have a Amanda, we have Laya, we have Jen Beattie, we have Steph Catley that could play there. We have Leah Valti that could come in, and we also saw in the World Cup Noelle Maritz playing center back for Switzerland. So that is an outstanding team to choose from. Hopefully they will gel, and I think we have the same up top. But the midfield, I think I would love Denise O'Sullivan, Ireland international. She just won a cup with here in the U.S. Maybe a couple or one more player. I think that we can do that. I don't think Pelova is as great as everybody thinks she is. So I think we could have a replacement for her to kind of bring up the.
Yeah.
And I wasn't excited about Mary Earps potentially coming to Arsenal. Just because I never really loved her body language and her being a Man United player. But the prospect of her coming is very, very tasty. And,
Is it winning Iran, Demien? Is it
yeah,
Iran?
she really is. I don't know if it'll happen. I have obviously no inside info, but I would not be opposed to that. And that's what big teams do. They're just ruthless.
Yeah, they have to be, right?
Yeah, of course.
Want to give a special thank you for Kenny for the super chat. Kenny AFC. Just want to say you guys are amazing. 25 hours. Mike is on Conte mode. This is the first time I've been asked for my urine. We need his urine for doping test or face the doping panel. Big up, guys. I'm going to get a sick note. I'm going to pull a Rio Ferdinand and miss that test. Paul
Pogba today tested positive.
Oh, yeah.
Testosterone, right? Is that what happened?
Yeah. Thank you very much, Kenny, and lots of comments about the Sophie being in the Matrix with her internet being sideways, upside down, left. I mean, she's so talented. One of the next questions we have is I think most of these kind of cover this, but let's see. Sorry, that was actually for the last guys. Mike, apologies if this has been asked before. Have you ever thought of selling Gooners vs. Cancer merch, T-shirts, caps, hand towels for charity? We have actually sold T-shirts. We sold some T-shirts over the summer, we'll probably get more into doing that as the kind of the awareness of the charity starts to become higher. Those kinds of things become a little bit more in demand. We have cups that we sell at the live events, which I'm drinking. I was drinking Gatorade out of. Now I'm drinking something in addition to Gatorade out of it. And we're going to sell those. Look, we're trying to grow this as much as we can. So we appreciate the suggestions. We appreciate the help. We appreciate people donating their time, effort, money, and creativity. So all of that. Hand it back to you guys again. I'm running on fumes. So when it comes to
you're running on.
You got this, Mike. Mike,
you got this.
Got it. Hey, we're here to. I'll read out some of the questions. Why don't we go to Albert for this? Do you think a big issue is the WSL season hasn't yet started where other leagues have kicked off? I think this was in relation to Arsenal getting knocked out of the Champions League.
I don't think any league has started, to be fair.
Paris FC wasn't already into their season type of thing?
No, I think they might have played a cup. I know Lyon, I think, just played a Super Cup.
A Super Cup, yeah.
Spain haven't. I think the Spanish league is on strike, as a matter of fact.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
There's a shocker.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, tell me about it.
There's Diego of the Hoboken Gunners, who created the hand towels that what did I do with them? I had a whole bunch of them over here before. These hand towels right here, which earlier today, 9 a.m. In the UK time, Frimpong from Arsenal actually he was sweating because it's very hot over there and there's no air conditioning, and he pulled one of these out of his pocket and was wiping his head with it, and we got a picture of him holding up the Hoboken Gunners thing. So I have a bunch of these still, Diego, and they're gonna stay here until we have the next event that I can take them to, and then they're gonna be helping us raise money. So this is the Gooner family. Diego, who I had never met before New York, wanted to get involved and took his time, effort, and expense to have these things built, have them made, and I love it, and he's a new friend now. So yeah, let's.
How did they build those towels, Mike? What did they build them from?
Brick and mortar, and they built them with love and terry cloth and all of those sort of things. So, what's next?
Here's a good question. With the WSL window open until it's gone the 21st of September, do you guys see any more signings coming in?
Well, we've got in 4 already, haven't we? Currently cost.
If it's anyone, is it going to be Mary Earps, you guys?
That was another question too.
I hope so, and I still think we need a midfielder.
Yeah, I do love Mary Earps. So listen, I love Zinsberger, but yeah, I tell all of my Mary Earps at Arsenal, to be fair.
Yeah,
I would say. I know Demien's like. I love how Demien's.
I've changed.
He was a bit 60-40, 50-50.
Yeah, I've changed, and now I definitely want her on my team.
Do you really think that United would sell her to us based off of?
Told us Russo.
But exactly, that's why I'm just wondering. Would they?
I don't think she. There's. I don't know if it's rumors, but I see it that she. I think wants to leave, and that they were saying sources. She cut an isolated figure at the Carrington training ground.
Yeah.
The reception wasn't too great when you came back, apparently, which I was quite surprised to hear if that's true.
I remember seeing this morning on, I think it was Sky Sports or Sky News, that United said there's no way they're going to sell her. So that's why I'm just curious if they would sell her to us specifically after the Russo situation.
Ooh. Money talks, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
Money talks. Test them resolve.
Laurie said, Mike, join us in the Twin Cities for the Midwest meetup in October. We're raising money for charity, having fun, and maybe sampling Malort from our Chicago pals. Unfortunately, I cannot. That weekend is my son's fall break. And then on the Sunday of that weekend, we leave for London. Actually, we leave for Seville. But I would love to. And 2 weeks earlier, I'm going to New York to support Jacob and Dave Seeger with their book release, signing, show, and all of that. So I've pretty much leveraged all the travel that I can really handle, but I would love to have been there. But very, very well, Laurie, what position I hold on the board of Arsenal America, since you were involved in helping to get me into it. So please do involve me in any way that I can to help that money raising for charity come to fruition. So, but there's no place I would rather be other than with my family. Than with a bunch of Gooners celebrating, their lives and their Goonerdom and all of that. So, yeah. Sorry. What's next? So, I'm here. So Russo refused to sign a new deal and walked into Arsenal. Is that maybe why she was sold? Because she wouldn't sign a new deal? Is that what happened?
I'm not really sure.
Where's she from? I think it's neck of the woods, right? She's originally from Kent, I think I've been told. So I don't know how long she's been in Manchester, but
I thought she got unsettled by the whole Arsenal thing, and then since they didn't let her leave, she wanted to come, right?
Did she have her head turned?
Just
like Sophie just right now. Sophie just had her head turned completely upside down.
Literally head turned.
Yes, her head was turned.
What's happening?
Sophie's doing some like Michael Jackson moves over here.
We got two. Not
giving
just one,
up.
Sophie, two.
I'm going to give up in a minute. I have to say, it's starting to really fucking piss me off.
Let me tell you, Sophie.
Breathe, sister. We got this.
I do want to talk about something.
Well, I don't want you to be aggravated, but just trust me. I don't care for the final hour of this pod. You're just going around in circles like you were in a washing machine. I'm telling you, this Sophie is better than no Sophie. So
if I'm adding you back in, so Mike doesn't have to worry about it.
Hey Gooners, this is Alan Smith.
This is Kevin Campbell.
Lee Dixon.
Colin Lewin.
This is Gary Lewin.
Charles Watts.
Dan Potts. James Benge.
Stanley.
Tom from the Gooner Talk here.
Ryan Oakcastle.
Simon Collins, you may know me from the Evening Standard.
You may know me for my time at Arsenal.
You may know me from Arsenal or even the hybrid squad.
Cat Wonderland.
Being that physio sat on the bench next to Arsenal with my rubber gloves on.
The former Arsenal physio.
The Emirates press box, from writing, from Twitter.
From goal.com, from Twitter, from YouTube.
Football is the beautiful game and it brings us all together.
Sometimes there are things even more important than wins and losses.
And yes, even transfers.
Every 30 seconds, someone in this world gets diagnosed with blood cancer.
The Leukemia and Lymphoma Society works towards curing blood cancers
and provides support to families currently dealing with these diseases.
Gooners vs Cancer was started in 2017
by a lifelong Gooner who lost his father to leukemia way too young.
Since 2017, Gooners v Cancer has raised
$120,000 for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society.
And we need your help to keep the fundraising going in this year's campaign.
Every donation helps.
Every donation helps.
Every donation helps.
Every donation helps.
No matter the size.
And every donation enters you into the Gooner raffle,
where you have a great chance to win amazing Arsenal prizes,
including game tickets, stadium tours,
signed men and women shirts,
and maybe a retro signed shirt by yours truly, Lee Dixon.
Me, yours truly.
Yours truly, Super Kev Campbell.
So much more.
It's easy to take part.
Just go to www.goonersvcancer.com
and donate directly to the charity.
Pick the raffle prizes you want to enter to win,
and wait for the drawings at the end of the campaign.
Again, that's www.goonersversuscancer.com.
We all know that victory grows out of harmony.
Victory grows out of harmony.
Victory grows out of harmony.
With your help, we'll be victorious against blood cancer once and for all.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you for your support.
Thanks for your support.
Thanks for your support.
Thank you for your support.